was pretty darn amazing, but I'd always felt out of place there. Not quite fashionable or cool enough. Even when I thought I'd started building a life with the man of my dreams, it turned out I was dead wrong. You see, I had taken that "you can achieve anything" message to mean that any dream could be turned into a reality if a person was willing to work hard enough. I learned that from my grandparents. They were the best influences I could have asked for. Sadly, Gramps was no longer with us, but his impact, along with my grandmother's, was lasting. When I was 11 years old, my mother had announced that motherhood didn't suit her and that she was moving away with her new boyfriend. Since I'd been born out of an anonymous one-night stand, I'd never known my father. I didn't even have a name, and Mom had only ever seen me as a burden on her social life. Anything I needed to know about the world, I learned from my grandparents. Grandma Rose, in particular, had peppered the years with glittering gems of wisdom. "Nobody is going to gift you the future you want, Chloe. It's a house you must build yourself. Your grandfather and I will teach you how to mix cement and lay a strong foundation, but you're responsible for turning a pile of bricks into a life." Ambition became my cement. The pastry skills I'd honed in my grandmother's kitchen with her hand on my shoulder became my bricks, and I designed a dream that involved me leaving small-town life to study at Le Cordon Bleu in Paris in my early 20s. After receiving high praise from my instructors, I entered the workforce. In a few years, I was no longer dwelling in the bottom ranks of the kitchen hierarchy. I made suggestions for the menu, provided input into the flavor profiles of desserts, and worked in test kitchens to come up with innovative and unique dishes. I set my sights on a head pastry chef position at a Michelin star restaurant and one day penning a cookbook. The life my grandparents had taught me to build was coming together. But I'd been too distracted to spot a crack in the foundation, too laser-focused to even consider that what I had built wasn't strong enough to withstand a storm. And I was so very wrong. Shaking my head, I tried to dislodge the thought. There was no sense worrying about things that didn't affect me anymore. The second I'd found out my beloved Grandma Rose had been diagnosed with breast cancer, I booked a flight home and fled the smoldering ruins of my life and career in Paris. Which meant for now I was planting my feet in Azalea Bay, and Paris would eventually become a distant memory. After picking up some ingredients from the supermarket to make a shrimp scampi over the weekend, I headed back to my car. One good thing about being home was getting to cook for my grandmother. It was rewarding to return the favor for all the meals she'd cooked for me over the years. But just as I was heading back to my car, my phone buzzed with a message from my Aunt Dawn. "Meet me at the corner of Shoreline and Cypress in 5 minutes. South Side." I laughed. She was always doing stuff like this, spontaneously making plans and expecting people to roll with it. Well, today I was happy to roll with it, but only for a short while because I needed to get home and put my groceries in the fridge. I texted her back as I walked, saying I could meet her for a few minutes. Despite the stress of the last month, I felt a spring in my step again. It was good to be home, and I was going to make the most of it. As I slowed to a stop where my aunt had asked to meet, I suddenly understood why she wanted me to come here. A corner shop stood empty. It was painted a soft sunset pink with white window frames. Big panes of glass revealed the inside, which was a blank canvas with the bones of a serving counter and little else. The front door was also white and had a vintage knob shaped like a flower, which was probably gold at one point, but it had developed a beautiful patina over time. A piece of paper that was taped to the inside of the window said "For Lease" in bold letters. I pressed a hand to the glass and peered in for a better look. The counter was built and there was sawdust on the ground. If I were to guess, it looked halfway through a renovation, like someone had abandoned their plans before the fit-out could be completed. What was here before? A smoothie bar, perhaps? Or maybe it was one of those custom salad places. "Chloe!" Aunt Dawn rushed over and gave me a big hug. She smelled like rose and patchouli and wore approximately 600 pieces of jewelry.